Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are most welcome to Institute for Leadership and Strategic Management, Africa. This is our day 2 lesson on entrepreneurship management. Institute for Leadership and Strategic Management, Africa is a training providing institute located in Ghana, West Africa. We train managers for higher performance, and we provide partial scholarship for Africans. We have series of programs that we offer, either 100% grant scholarship or partial scholarship for Africans. You can log onto our website www.ilsmagh.com, or you can contact any of our numbers on 0244 660 982, 030 700 1435, or 0245 841 835. Our lesson for today will be on team building, interpersonal skills, and effective time management. This is a very interesting program, and all comments and suggestions are welcomed. We'll be talking more on how, as an entrepreneur, Africans can come together, understand each other to make good use of the resources available. This is a continuation of what we did last week. Today, we're talking more, as I said earlier, on team building and interpersonal skills. Now, this is a story that most of you have heard over and over, but this story is such that it's applicable in so many areas depending on how you apply it or how you understand it. It is a story between the tortoise and the rabbit. It's a story between the tortoise and the rabbit. The rabbit is also known as the hare, H-A-R-E. The story is between the tortoise and the rabbit. Now, once upon a time, a tortoise and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster. In life, we have colleagues, we have friends, we have relatives, close related ones, either at home or at the workplace, who always argue with us as to who is best or better in life. That is why when you go to work or you go to a place, you see somebody who will attend the program or who will come there late with a long heel, especially the ladies, making noise just for others to know the kind of shoe or dress they are putting on. They are showing off for others to know that they are more important in life or they are more valuable than others. Okay, that's how the argument begins. So the moment one does something for you to think that the person intends to prove to you that he or she is better than you, then the argument starts. You know, the tortoise and the rabbit had an argument about who was faster in life. Then what happened? The rabbit said, "I am the faster runner." The tortoise also said, "That is not true. The fastest runner is me." Let's see what happened. So they decided to settle the argument with a race. The moment somebody intends to prove something to you and it turns into argument or competition, there is always a race. At the workplace, we see such things like what we normally call conflict of interest. We see it at the workplace. You see people showing off, people are not in good terms. It could even happen at home, among or between co-tenants, co-workers at the workplace, even at school. It happens in the hostel, in the rooms, everywhere that there are two or more people. These arguments are likely to occur. So now they decided to settle the argument with a race. They agreed on a route and started off the race. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. Both the tortoise and the rabbit agreed. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing that he was far ahead of the tortoise, he thought he would sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. There is no way the tortoise can be faster than the rabbit. This says that, or this proves that, no matter what you do, there are certain people you can never be of their caliber. You can never compete with them. You are not a match. You can never be a match. All fingers are not same. Okay? But then, people today who should have gotten far in life, or whose life should have been much better today, are struggling because they had the opportunity to have with a good start, and they relaxed under a tree for some time. Just as the tortoise did. I'll sit under the tree and relax because the person who is competing with me, the rabbit, is never a match. Therefore, so long as I have the quick start, so long as my parents have given me the foundation, I have to relax. A lot of people's parents sacrifice to build businesses for them, and today the businesses have collapsed. Some of you were sent to school, parents paid huge sums of money for you to go and learn, and you went to relax, you slept, and today whatever you were supposed to achieve or attain, you could not get there because you sat somewhere and you relaxed, just as the tortoise did. And then what happened? The tortoise said, poor guy, even if I take a nap, he could not catch up with me. Of course, we sometimes see ourselves as better or higher in life than others. Therefore, we look down upon them and we relax on the way. Let's see what happened. The rabbit sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. What happens when you sit under a neem tree? You enjoy the wind, and you are enjoying the breeze. What happens? You definitely sleep. Okay, so then the rabbit slept deeply. Let's see what happened next. The tortoise, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. Now, when you relax on the way, what happens is that those who are not a match takes over. Somebody who is not a match, somebody who is below you, will take over. If you're a manager and you are performing poorly because you don't put in your effort, all effort, the one who is understudying you shall be promoted and he will take over. If you have a business and there's a competitor and you are not doing things right, that competitor will perform far better and he will win more customers, and at the end of the day you say that he's using black power, which is not true because you relaxed. Most of us have relaxed, and that has been our problem till date. We sleep too much. When you go to the public sector, people are sleeping. Drop a proposal or a letter to any public institution. The next day you go for a follow-up, they cannot even locate or identify or even find where that document was placed. People are sleeping. And in Africa, we sleep on our jobs. Most people are just salary or income earning workers. They don't do anything. All they do is to relax because they feel they have the power, they carry authority, they have gotten the seat. But you should note that that seat, somebody sat on that seat a few days ago. You had opportunity to occupy that seat. It's the same way you will leave for somebody to come. What you have to do it, and do it at the right time, at the right place. Time waits for no man. Even Jesus told Judas during the Last Supper, what you must do quickly. If you have the chance to do something, do it. And treat every day as your very last breath on earth. Do not relax because you feel you are above somebody. The one who is down today can be up tomorrow. And the one who is up today can be down tomorrow. That means the protos can become the eschatos, and the eschatos can become the protos. Let's see what happened. The tortoise took over and became the undisputed champ. The rabbit woke up and realized that he had lost the race. Some of us, something we should have done 3 years ago, we are still battling doing it today because we keep relaxing. By the time, if you don't open your eyes will open you. And I repeat, if you do not open your eyes will open you. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. This is the version of the story that we have all grown up with. In Africa, majority of us are slow because our systems, our educational system and family upbringing prepare us to be slow and in life. You cannot question your boss, you cannot question your family head, you cannot question your father. I mean, it makes us become timid. But if you think it will take you 5 days to read something and understand for it to stick, then you have to start reading earlier. There are people who are sharp by nature and there are people who are slow by nature. If you are the slow type, all what you have to be is you have to be consistent at what you do or with what you do. If you are slow and you are consistent, you will always get where you intend to get. All fingers are not same. Now, the story still continues. The rabbit was so disappointed at losing the race and he did some soul searching. In life, when you deserve something and you sleep and you lose it, you have to wake up. The Bible says a man shall fall 7 times in a day. You have just fallen once and you are giving up. You don't have to give up. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race and he did some soul searching. And soul searching is talking about critical thinking. That is one area I have issue with Africans, especially the youth. We fail to do critical thinking. We fail to do soul searching. You have to identify the loopholes and you find alternate solutions to it. People finish school, they become graduates and they say there are no jobs. Who told you there are no jobs? Create it if there's no job. Do critical thinking. Last Saturday, I told you here that any environment or any developing country, there's money. There's money because there are problems. Identify a problem, find solution to the problem, and the solution you find becomes your business, which must be fetching. Okay, so whatever you do, wherever you find yourself, do some kind of soul searching or critical thinking. Think. What we go to school to learn is called knowledge. We go there to gain knowledge. For wisdom, God has given it to every individual. We all have wisdom. Do soul searching. So the rabbit realized that he had lost the race only because he had been overconfident. And there are a lot of you out there who have become failures or losers because of overconfidence. Your confidence is too high, and overconfident is a weakness sometimes, maybe a weakness. He had been overconfident, careless, and lax. And if he had not taken things for granted, there was no way the tortoise would have beaten him. And it's true. There was no way the tortoise would have beaten him. And it's true. Apologies, our video men are still not around. We are working on that soon. We'll have our cameraman, so we have a professional video. Now, so the rabbit challenged the tortoise to another race. The tortoise agreed. Of course, somebody who doesn't deserve to rock shoulders with you, when you give an opportunity for a competition, he feels he has done it and he can do it. And that is the life in which we find ourselves. He agreed. The rabbit asked, can we have another race? Okay, why not? Sure, let's go. Now, this time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping. The rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. If you have been a failure before, when you get opportunity to recreate, redesign, redevelop, restart, redo something, you start with all effort and you go throughout or all out without relaxing. And that's exactly what the rabbit did right now. He went throughout without stopping, and he got there. He won by several miles. The moral of the story is that somebody who is fast and consistent in life will always beat the person who is slow and steady. If you have two people in your organization, one person is slow but methodical and reliable, and the other person is fast and still reliable at what he or she does, the fast and reliable person will consistently climb the organizational ladder faster than the slow and the methodical person. Because life is all about time. The story still doesn't end here. The tortoise did some thinking this time and realized that there is no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. Of course, sometimes when you assess yourself, you do personal assessment. You look at your strengths and you weigh your weaknesses. You realize that there are certain things, no matter what, you can never make it the way it is formatted. If you are going to the university and you think nursing is not good for you, do not go and do nursing because your parents are pushing you to do it. If your parents want to have nurses in their family, they themselves should apply for nursing. Do not let anybody push you, do things you cannot do the way it is formatted. You cannot be a doctor if you don't have the call for it. Do not become a police officer because you want to put on a uniform for people to respect you. You are going to flop. Don't do things the way it is formatted if you are aware that it will not favor you. Okay. Now, the tortoise realized that the race, the format of the race, he can never make it because there is no way he can race on a normal ground with a rabbit and win. It's never true. If you think naturally you are slow and you cannot study mathematics, do not bother yourself and study mathematics. Okay? If you think your English is not good, why do you go to study English at school? Do not do something your spirit is not in love with the way it is formatted, if it's unfavorable or unsuitable. Now, the tortoise did some thinking, and this is where I'm much more interested. He did some thinking. That should tell you that we can do critical thinking and find solutions to all the problems around us before it even happens. So he realized that he did some thinking and realized that there is no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it is formatted. Then he asked, how can I win the rabbit? The way it is formatted, how can I win the rabbit? He thought for a while. Sometimes there's a need for you to sit under a tree or go to the beach not to swim. Get a piece of paper and a pen, sit quietly and do critical thinking and jot down some important things in your life or for your life. Now, he thought for a while. The tortoise thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. Hey, buddy, can we have another race? This time we'll go through a different route. Somebody who believes he's a winner or is a champ believes he can always make it. He did not even ask which route. And then he agreed, why not? Let's go. Now they started off in keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast. The rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. You see, you agreed without knowing the route. Now, the rabbit sat there wondering what to do. In the meantime, the tortoise trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story is that first identify your core competency and then change the playing field to suit your core competency. In an organization, if you're a good speaker, make sure you create opportunities to give presentations that enable the senior management to notice you. If your strength is analysis, make sure you do some sort of research, make a report and send it upstairs. Okay, when I was in school, I've been a talkative, right, from primary school to the university level. And I quite remember in the primary and the basic school, anytime our teachers come and they are lashing or they request for talkatives, I always was the first on the list. Now, why must a teacher beat a student for being a talkative? Today, what happens? I talk for money. My job is to talk for money. I'm a lecturer, a professional lecturer. My job is to talk for money. So if you keep gaining students at school and you shut them down, you shut them up, you consistently influence them not to talk, for all you know, that would be somebody's profession tomorrow in future. Okay, so working to your strengths will not only get you noticed, but will also create opportunities for growth and advancement. The story still hasn't ended. The rabbit and the tortoise by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. In life, when you compete with somebody, sometimes you end up becoming very close related friends. And instead of competing, this time you don't compete, but you work hand in hand as a team, so they can make good use of time. So they decided to do the race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the rabbit carried the tortoise till the river bank. There, at the river bank, the tortoise took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the tortoise, and they reached the finishing line together. They both felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they had felt earlier. In life, there are certain things, no matter what, you can never do it. A rabbit can never swim. But that doesn't mean the rabbit cannot cross the river. You get it? You are in Ghana, we have Cote d'Ivoire down there, we have Burkina Faso up there, we have Togo there. These are French-speaking countries. You can study French a bit, you create relations there, and you tap opportunities from those countries. We always travel to Francophone, Anglophone, or English-speaking countries. What about the surrounding countries around us? Look at the number of Francophones and Spanish students who come to Ghana to study. What is it that you can do with them genuinely to make money? What is it that they have in their country we lack here that you can tap and bring it here? Or what is it that we have here that they can tap together with you and send it there? There are opportunities everywhere. Open your eyes before your eyes will open you. Now, the moral of the story: it is good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies. But unless you are able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you will always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you will do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. Some of us always want to do everything. Even if you are not good at it, because you carry authority, you still want to do it. Life is never so. What you cannot do, there will be somebody somewhere who can do better. Give the person the opportunity. There are more lessons to be learned from this story. Note that neither the tortoise nor the rabbit gave up after failures. The rabbit decided to work harder and put in more effort after his failure. The tortoise changed his strategy because he was already working as hard as he could. In life, when faced with failure, sometimes it is appropriate to work harder and put in more effort. Sometimes it is appropriate to change strategy and try something different. And sometimes it is appropriate to do both. The rabbit and the tortoise also learned another vital lesson. when we stop competing against a rival, when we stop competing against a rival and instead start competing against the situation, we perform far better. Stop competing against a rival and start competing against the situation. Now, when Roberto Guizeta took over as CEO of Coca-Cola in the 1980s, he was faced with intense competition from Pepsi that was eating into Coke's growth. His executives were Pepsi focused and intent on increasing market share 0.1% a time. Roberto decided to stop competing against Pepsi and instead compete against the situation of 0.1% growth. He asked his executives what was the average fluid intake of an American per day. The answer was 14 ounces. What was Coke's share of that? 2 ounces. Roberto said Coke needed a larger share of that market. The competition wasn't Pepsi. It was the water, tea, coffee, milk, and fruit juices that went into the remaining 12 ounces. The public should reach for a Coke whenever they felt like drinking something. To this end, Coke put up vending machines at every street corner. Sales took a quantum jump, and Pepsi has never quite caught up since. To sum up, the story of the tortoise and the rabbit teaches us many things. 1. Never give up when faced with failure. Never give up when faced with failure. 2. Fast and consistent will always beat slow and steady. Fast and consistent person will always beat the one who is slow and consistent. 3. Work to your core competencies. I'm a talkative, I've been a talkative, and I now talk for money. 4. Compete against the situation, not against a rival. That is one challenge in Africa. When something happens or something goes wrong or bad, and we are not criticizing the personality or the person. We are criticizing the situation or the issue. 5. Pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performers. Pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performance. 6. This is how we manage time when we work as a team. Let's go out there and build stronger teams as Africans. Thank you for listening to us. We currently have 100% grant scholarship for all the Ekrapem tribe. We have 100%